Look for those emojis around your screen. That way I know you can hear. And we can go ahead and get started. You've seen the message that recording's going. All right, so we made it through week one. Week one I consider one of the most difficult weeks of the course. You get dropped into a class you may or may not have been expecting. You have a brand new instructor, new format, online, something entirely different to get used to. So it's a lot of first time experiences all kind of thrown at you at one time. So, and almost everybody is doing exceptional. Few hiccups here and there. So a couple of reminders. Number one, people that I see having the biggest challenges are still trying to access the chapters and or the quizzes with phones. And I could see that when you log in. When I go back through and check, I see the iOS or the Android logins because the good thing about Canvas and SimNet is they do tattle on you. Hey, David. Um, so it tells me exactly when you log in, what you log in with, and what you access, and how long you access it, and what you do when you're accessing. So those are some of the advantages with the system. It tells us what you're doing. It also tells us if you try to do things like log in and just move around the system and not actually do anything. It keeps track of everything. So that way we can see if everything's functioning properly. And people are having issues as far as in, I'm not able to do this or that, and we can see that, hey, part of the problem is you're trying to access it on a phone, or even if you're on a Chromebook, if you're trying to go through the app, delete the app and go through the browser itself and go through the student portal. The Canvas app is not actually supported by the Southern Tech College. So get rid of that app. That app causes issues because what it does is it tries to make either your iPad or your Chromebook act like a phone. Okay, so don't use the app. Go actually through the portal, and that will eliminate a lot of it. Uh, if you have multiple browsers, the browser choice, Chrome first. Then if you have Safari, use Safari. Then the last one to use, of course, is Edge. Edge has the most bugs with it, even though ironically, it is running a variation of Chrome. All right. Now, if for any reason you did not complete everything, you'll notice that you're locked out of those assignments. You can't get into those grades to go to your campus. They have your grades. And if your grade has dropped now below passing, they're going to be giving you a contact, find out what's going on. Okay, it's not the end all of end all. Let me show you what we can do. And like last week, if you have questions, drop them in the chat box. I'll try to keep an eye on the other screen so I can see those. Or you can unmute your mic. I may have you repeat it because sometimes I don't hear it right the first time through the headset, and I may have to adjust it depending on your mic. All right. So there is always a way, pretty much, as long as you don't let time get too far past. So let's get to getting here so that we can see what everything is all about. So I'm going to share this screen and I'm going to start off looking at this the way you see things. Okay, so this is your screen here. Again, some kind of things to watch out for. Don't try to launch things through the to-do list. They don't work. If you try to launch things through the to-do list, um, like if you come down here and you go in and you're trying to launch assignments, things like that, you will get wonderful messages, something typically that will tell you that no preview, et cetera, et cetera. So if I get rid of some of these, let me see if assignments actually show up. Okay, so if I don't want the project, I want the actual chapters. Okay, so here is a chapter. If I click on that, oh, because I'm an instructor, you'll get an error of some sort. So try not to go over there and think that there is something broken with the system. They don't launch well through here. Where you should be doing everything is, whoops, it's in the modules. Come down here and go into week 2, which is where we'll be working. All right. Now, if you did not complete everything from week 1, in here is where you're going to resolve that. Everyone needs to complete this assignment anyway. Um, if you need extensions, or even if you don't, there's a reason why I have you do these assignments. Every week going forward, on Monday, you're going to have it. Number 1, if you haven't completed anything, you're going to need an assignment for attendance. Number 2, it's an easy way to pick up 100 points. Number 3, you need to know where you are in the class. And I don't mean physically, but where you are as we move through here. So what you're going to do is you're going to click begin, and it's going to load this assignment. Now, when you finish this, it's going to give you a grade, but that grade is not accurate because I need to manually grade it. I'm going to take a look at what your assignments are. Okay, so the very first question, it's going to ask you about the discussion. Okay, and so it's going to tell you this is what it scored out, 20 points for the first, 20 points for the second, 64 points for the last. Total points were 100. What did you score? The reason why I'm asking you is I want you to be aware of what your points were. Now, if you only did one post and it was 20, put 20 in here. Okay, putting 100 points doesn't give you 100 points. It tells me you didn't check your grade. If you didn't do it, you got a 0. Put the correct answer, click next, and then right in here, boom, 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 answer the overview. That was the chapter. What was your points? If you didn't do it, be honest, put a 0 in there. The quiz, what was your score? Put your score in there. Now, this is where I try to find out what happened. How did you do in general? 1 to 10. Okay, how bad did you think the assignments were? 1, not very much. 10, too much. Now remember, this is a college level course. You will have assignments. So, and we're going to have more assignments this week, okay? Difficulty, okay? It is a new subject. It is a new way of doing things. So tell me, how difficult did you think it was? I'm not judging you. I'm trying to get a gauge on how the class is doing, okay? Sometimes we have things going all around us, okay? You like the assignment? Okay, good. I'm glad. I think it's a decent way to learn because to learn a computer, you got to be on it, okay? Using the scale of 1 to 10, how bad was things outside? I know sometimes things get incredibly hectic. Did that influence how you did your work? Okay, and how confusing what it was. Okay, if you put a 10 on here, I'm going to be reaching out to find out how I can help you. Okay, I want to know. Now, if you we're in the online session, click O. If you watch the recording, it's an R. If you didn't do both, it would be an F. That's fine. I'm just trying to figure out how people are absorbing the material. You're not being graded on this part here, okay? If you did both, boom. Did you complete all of them? If you didn't, it's false. I need an extension on the chapter. If you do, it's true. If you do not, say false. I need it on the quiz, true or false, and then you submit it, okay? And then submit. Now, what happens is it's going to give you a grade. I got a 0%. That does not mean that's what that is. I'm going to go through here. I'm going to see what you put down, and you're going to get 100 points, okay? You're going to get 100 points. Got it? I'm using this to see who needs extensions, and I want you to know how you're doing in class. The reason being is there are classes where students get to the end of the class and they have no idea how well they're doing. You need to know how well you're doing, what your scores are. So you are aware. This will make you aware. You need to know what your scores are. All right? So everybody understand, this is just to find out where you are, how you're doing, and to let me know if you need an extension. Everybody who requests an extension on an assignment, I have to give those to you individually. This is why I don't take requests by an email or a text. I used to get them, open all my assignments. Number one, that's rude. Just to send me something, say open all. Yeah, the only thing it was missing was a finger snap. You, snap, do this. Okay? I'm more than willing to help you, but you have to help yourself at the same time. Okay? If you're having difficulty meeting deadlines and things like that, I need to know why. Okay? Everybody understand this is the reason why. Okay? You are going into careers where you're going to be on timelines. That timelines mean money to companies, and companies don't like you to cost them money. All right. So we have to learn a wonderful skill called time management. Time management here is when things close and lock. You cannot have access to these assignments from beginning of the class all the way through the end of the course. If you get an extension, the extensions will end this Sunday. After this Sunday, week one assignments are no longer available the remainder of the course, period. Okay. Once week three hits, you cannot get into week one. And the final week, you cannot have access to week one. You cannot make things up in the last week. Boom. Okay. When we're in week two, you can get extensions or request them into week three, but you cannot have them in week four. The assignments need to be done. All right. So that's how we do those in here. All right. So that is one of your assignments. And there's incentive besides being able to make up lost assignments, you get attendance and you get points all at the same time. It's a win-win-win. All right. So that's why it's done this way. And it also ensures I know who needs the extensions. I want to help you, but I need that as well. All right. So we got that. That is that assignment right there. Now, we're going to be doing Word, Microsoft Word. Now, when we're working in this, you're going to be working on Microsoft Word. Occasionally, I'll have somebody who tries to do their assignment in Google Docs, and I will return it and say, it needs to be done in Word. And they said, yes, I did it in the Google version. Okay. There is no Google Word, there's Google Docs. Okay. Telling me you did it in the Google version of Word is saying like, I drive a Ford Ferrari, okay? Or a Chevrolet Lamborghini. You understand those are two different things. That's like me saying, I'm going to give you $200 in rocks, okay? Obviously, you would not want, yes, a Volvo Chevy. Exactly. You would not want your paycheck in rocks. They're two different things. They're two different brands, two different products. We're working in the Microsoft programs here. And this assignment, along with all of yours, will be in Microsoft. Okay. Now, when we get further into the other project, there's going along with this one, there's very strict guidelines to follow. Okay. Please follow them. Part of it is because people want to use AI to do the assignments. Okay. We use AI detectors. If you are found or believed to have used AI, and we use 6 different ones to check your work, it will be rejected. Okay. Part of that is explained right on your home page, right here. Okay. Come right down here. Boom. AI prohibited. The use of generative AI tools is prohibited in this course unless expressly authorized by the instructor. Submission of AI-generated work in whole or in part will be considered a violation of the academic integrity policy. Unauthorized AI use may result in a failing grade on the assignment, course penalties, or disciplinary action. That disciplinary action means you can be removed from your program. Okay. I will let you know when and where AI can be used. All right. That statement is Southern Tech. Boom. Okay. Across the board. It's in every course, online or not. That's not my statement. That is Southern Tech. All right. So please pay attention to the guidelines I give you. Trust me, I'm going to do the whole project in the live class tonight. Follow the steps. It'll make it shorter and it'll make it more understandable. Okay. I want everyone to succeed. This is why I go through the steps. I don't want you spending hours on the assignments. All right. So here we go. So, word in your career. Now, many of us have stumbled through Word, learning how to do this or that by accident. Okay. And almost every occupation uses it to some extent. Okay. So I've broken down right here different ways the careers use it. Things that we may not realize that we use it, but we do. Okay. Job estimates, safety procedures, inspection reports, checklists, installation guides, service agreements. Okay. Project proposals, compliance reports, troubleshooting guides, and medical patient intake forms, appointment summaries, training materials, vet assisting, pet care instructions, vaccination schedules, all these things. Okay. So, what I want you to do is I want you to think, because I don't want you to necessarily do research. I want you to think in your own thoughts. How do you think that you could use it in your field? Think about how it could benefit you. Okay. Some of you want to start your own businesses. Think about where would I use something like this? What could I possibly need this for? Because you are the professional. And I want us to start thinking about that. You are now the professional in this field. You're not just somebody being hired. You are a professional. People are looking to you for the advice, the clear, concise information to do the job. Now, why would you need to produce clear, accurate, and well-formatted documents? Think about that when the customer's coming to you or another business that's doing business with you. And that's how to approach this. So your first post, remember, this is you giving your answer. Then look for 2 other students and respond to them. Now, some people, they skipped right on by, didn't do the discussion. Discussions are never up for an extension. Boom, boom. You don't do the discussion, you just throw away 100 points. That's a big impact on your overall grade. Okay. If you only do that first post, you got 20 points, you threw away 80 points. You respond to one person, Now with your original post, you have 40 points. You threw away that last 60 points. Do 3 posts, 3 thoughts, and you've nailed it. All right, everybody got that? 3 posts. Okay, your first one has to be done by Wednesday, your other 2 by Sunday. Now, I start grading this on Thursday, and you'll see if you've got 20 points in there, I'll say you got 2 more to go. If you got 2 posts done, I'll say, great, you got 40 points, 1 more to go. If you got all 3 done, you'll have 100 points in there. Boom. All right, so we got this. Now, do not freak out that you have 3 chapters this week, okay? This last chapter, I'm going to jump right in here. So let me get out of student view so I don't get an error here. I want to show you this here. This last chapter, when I jump into it, it's not so bad, okay? It does have 16 items in it, but if you look, colors, fonts, watermarks, things like that, these are quick items. These are not a bunch of clicking like some of the other items will be, okay? So when you are doing a chapter, on average, a student going through a chapter, it takes them about 30 minutes, okay? So you're looking about an hour and a half total, okay? Because I'll hear, it's a lot of work. Do we get attendance for joining? No, you get attendance for completing assignments, okay? You must complete assignments for attendance, okay? Otherwise, what happens is people join the class and then they walk away, all right? So takes about a half hour for a chapter, sometimes a little bit longer, depending on if you do all 3 steps, the show me, the guide me, and the let me try. Okay, so you're talking about an hour and a half, possibly 2 hours here, and the quiz takes about a half hour, so about 2.5 hours, and then the project, less than a half hour there. Now, if you're in a ground class on campus, you're in that class 4 hours, up to 4 hours, 4 times a day, or 4 times a week, 16 hours. You have plenty of time to do these, all right? Do the math, okay? So we got plenty of time to do these. The thing is, you have to be able to mark your time just like you would if you were on campus. I have students meet at a campus with each other. Sometimes that works so that you're not distracted by home. The thing is, when you are taking an online class, that does not mean pick up a bunch of extra hours or things like that and think that this class is less because it's online. It just means it's much more easy to schedule around it, but please keep in mind you still do have those assignments. All right, so let's do a quick refresher here. I'm going to click on the chapter and go into it for you. So when you are in the chapter, you can do these as quickly as you want. You do not have to wait until a particular day to do the chapters. You can get them done all before Thursday, etc., whatever you want, all depending on your schedule, okay? As you're going through them, when you are working, when this gets to 100%, that means you've done all of these. You'll have little check marks in here all the way down, but you click on one to start it. The show me, that's the one that plays the video. The guide me is the step-by-step, and the let me try, this is the one that gets you those points, okay? Now, if you do not like that video, don't play it. That takes quite a bit of time. But if you like the step-by-step, click on that. And then if you decide, you know what, I need that video, right here you can jump back to it up in that upper right-hand corner. Just click on that and it'll go back to the video. And then if you go, oh, that was a mistake, you can click on the guide me. You can jump back and forth here, just like those three boxes on the screen before. Need extra help? Click on that show hint on the left-hand side, and it'll give you extra hints up here. Sometimes that's enough to solve the whole thing. If you're feeling brave, click on the let me try. And if you still need help, click that hint and maybe that's enough. Sometimes that's enough to get you to do the whole thing without needing that extra help there. Click that exit. If you're a visual person, this part here shows you the same thing that the show me and the guide me and the let me try are doing. Everything here works together to get you through this let me try. This is how you customize the learning for yourself. You decide how you want to learn, okay? The only one you have to do is this let me try, and when you complete it, that's what gets you the score, okay? Now, once you've completed it, if you don't want to go back to the menu and you've got this little check mark here, you can click that right arrow and it will go to the next one. Complete that one, click that right arrow over here in the middle of the screen, and it will go to the next one. That will save you time as well. All right. Now I'm not going to go through these because they're going to walk you through them yourself. And that's going to be the way you do these chapters. Each chapter and each item in those chapters are independent. They do not get more difficult the further you go, okay? Each item is standalone. Working with these programs, they don't get more difficult the further you go, all right? So that's a good thing. The third item in the chapter is not more difficult than the first item, okay? It's a computer program, so it stays at the same level. All right. Now, if you are on one of these items, go back here. I should have did this while I was in here. Let's say we're down here on number 9, and we're in here, and you have tried this quite a few times, and it's just not working. Send me a text. It says, I'm on chapter 1 in Word, and I'm on skill 9 of 16. Everyone see that in the upper right corner? It says skill 9 of 16 up there. And I've tried over and over. I can't get it. Send me that in a text or an email. And then you click this right arrow here, up here towards the right corner. Click on that and you go to skill 10 and you keep working. Do not get frustrated. You just keep working and I will take a look at that item for you. All right. Everyone's good with that so far. Don't get frustrated. Don't stop. Just keep going and go to the next item. All right. Now, that is the way you keep working on those items. Okay. So that will get you all the way through. Whoops, we're going to go back here. That will get you working all the way through here. And we are down here and the quiz. The quiz works just like last week. You will go in here and it will prompt you to take the exam. You will have 3 full attempts. You check this box, say start exam. Now, you have 20 questions, but it will only be on Word. Okay, it won't be on everything. It's only on Word. Pay attention when something goes backwards. If you click on something and you get it incorrect, remember it will give you this hint here. Take a picture of that. It will help you out. It's going to tell you where you need to go. It's going to tell you the design tab. Remember, tabs are up at the top. There's design right there. And then it's going to tell you click the watermark button and select do not copy. Okay. So if that was the case, we would go to the design tab. We would look for watermark, click on that down arrow, and we would be looking for the one that says do not copy right there, and it would tell us it was correct. Pay attention to what it's telling you. Following directions are going to be critical. You're going into areas where you're working with dangerous equipment. You're working with gases, you're working with electric, you're working with all types of things that can cause bodily harm. Those little pieces that may seem non-important, the details, that's going to matter. Don't brush by those little notes, those little hints. Being able to pick up on those, that's going to make the difference between keeping your fingers or not, right? And we like to have our fingers. Makes it easier to pick up French fries, right? And who doesn't love French fries? All right. Seriously, you do want to be able to pick up on those details. Those details really matter in every one of those careers. All right. So that's going to leave us with our project. Okay. Is anybody nervous about doing the project? Anyone? If you are, please do not. I'm going to show you how to do the entire project. All right. Okay. So we're going to click on the project here. And here come the instructions here. Now, if you want to, this little arrow right here up at the top, if you click that, you can download that or print it if you have a printer, and you can get this entire set of instructions. Okay. Microsoft Word is what we're going to use, and I'm going to show you where to get it through the student portal. You do not have to purchase any software for this class. If you're getting a prompt to purchase software, you're not logging in properly. So I'm going to show you how to do that. You're going to need a PC, Mac, or Chromebook with function keys, etc., just like normal. If you have a touchpad, make sure you're not using the app on it, okay? So want you to make sure that you name it with your name so that in case that document should get misplaced, you know where to find it, okay? And then this is going to tell you how to create the document. Now, we're a little more visual oriented, so let's take a look at what this document's going to look like as we scroll on down. This is what your document's going to look like right here. This is the entire document from where it says purchase order all the way down to here. Okay. Again, do not try to do this outside of Word. Do not try to get AI to do it. AI leaves markers behind. Please do this yourself. All right. So let's get to getting, and I will show you how to do it. And then once we have it created, then we're going to come in up at the top. And then that's when, let me show you as a student, that's when we will click that green button that says start assignment. Don't do that until you're ready to put the item actually in here. Okay, so here we go. We are going to go to the student portal. That's this right here. And we are going to go down to Microsoft 365. You're going to click on that. And we're going to click sign in. Now, you'll be asked probably for your user ID and password. That would be the same as your Canvas ID and password. If you have logged in with your own personal Microsoft account instead of your school one, please make sure you log in with your school one so that you have access to the programs. Up in the corner, this is what we call a waffle menu here. Click on that. And we are looking for Word. It is a blue item with a W on it, and it should say Word underneath it. And that's going to launch. And we're going to do Create Blank Document. Okay. Now, this may not be the way you see things in your book right here. One of the first things I like to do is slide all the way over to the right, click on that down arrow, and I choose Classic Ribbon. And the reason why I do that is I like it to show me all the options spelled out as opposed to all condensed. Okay. Now, the other thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to do View, and under Zoom, I'm going to say Fit. That's going to expand my screen, so it's going to make it a little bit easier for you to see at home. And I'm going to go back to the home page. Okay. Now, I have a printout of what the document looks like, so I'm going to work from that so that it's easier to demonstrate. In the upper left-hand corner, we have the word purchase order in all caps. So I'm going to type that in. Whoops. Purchase order. Now you can make some variations on it, colors, things like that, to make it a little bit more your own, but it's primarily going to follow this format. Now, this part here, you have a choice. You can make this 2 boxes or you can make this 4 boxes in here by doing insert, a table. The advantage to doing 4 boxes versus 2 is the ease in putting in the information. And 1, 2, 3, and 4 boxes down. I'm going to do 4 boxes across and 4, whoops, I did not want to do that. Let me go back, take that back. I'm going to do 4 by 4. So if you notice when I move across, it actually keeps track of the count for me. But I'm going to do 4 by 4. And the reason why is this way I can put in my headings over here. And then I can use my down arrow to go straight down. And I'm going to put in all my headings that were in the instructions. Now, you don't have to put it in this way. You can put them in uppercase, lowercase if you like. I just happen to have had my caps lock key on, so I can change this. Go back in, make it look a little bit better. Sometimes I have to do some screen corrections because of doing this live. It does mess up for some reason in Word more than anything. Then I put in these over here. Now in the instructions, it tells you what to put in each one of these so that you know what to supply. Okay, so this is the top part of the purchase order already. So under vendor name, you're going to go out to the internet and you're going to find information on the web related to your career. Okay, you're going to be looking for items to purchase for your career in this situation. All right. You probably your caps lock buttons off. Sometimes I wish that they would just have something in a different position than where it is. That's a big downfall. Um, so you're going to be looking for information on the web. Now, things to keep in mind, you can use Amazon. You can use things like Harbor Freight. You can use any business that's going to have products related to your career. So that's where the vendor name, the address, the phone, and the website. And we're going to come back to the website. The ship to information. This is going to be your campus. Okay, so you're going to look up your campus address here. Okay, so that's going to be your campus name, the address, the contact. You can make me, and the email is going to be your student email. All this is in the instructions. Okay, so you'll be able to put that information in. And we're going to come down here. And then down here, we're going to put in a date. And so I would put in today's date, the current date, 7/13. Now, you can put in an automatic date function, but be careful when you do those things, okay? Because if you put in an automatic date function, every time you come back into this document, this date will update, okay? So if you're wanting to keep documents that are going to be historical in nature, be careful of the use of automatic dates because you don't want them updating every time you want to go back. Okay. Yeah, exactly. No, well, if you're doing something like that, you're like me, you have custom keyboards for those. So, all right. So this is what you do right here. And then for the PO number, because I had people at one time making up their own PO numbers. So in this one, I want you to use the last 4 digits of your student ID. Okay, just the last 4 digits. Okay, and then arrow down under here. Okay, now you do not have to put the word line items, but in here we are going to make another grid. And it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 across and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines down. Okay, so we need a 6x5. So we're going to do insert table and we're going to do 6 and we're going to do 5. All right. Now in the top here, we are going to do item number. And we're going to do description. And we are going to do a part or model number. And we are going to do a quantity. Now I'm using the tab key to move from one column to the other. Unit price. And the last one will be a line total. Okay, now I didn't have quite enough room here, but if you'll notice when I move up here, see how I can get those little arrows in there? If I hold down my left mouse button, I can just pull that across and I can give myself more room there. I'm going to do the same thing for description. I'm going to scoot that over and I'm going to slide quantity all the way over. I don't need that much space for quantity. And line item number, I don't need that much space. That's going to give me more room for that description. All right, so kind of play that by ear. Okay, now in the uh, instructions, I have these as a different color. If I go across holding down my left mouse button, that will highlight those. And if I go under table color, I could do the whole table, but under here, I could do cell shading and click here and I can pick a color and just click on that. That's how you put the color in those items there. And the same thing could be done up here. If I wanted to add color into these, I could click on that cell shading. Ooh, that's a tongue twister for me. And I could add color in there. And that would highlight my form a little bit more. That part is up to you. Now there's one more item down here that if I go all the way over here, I could do an insert and I could do another table and just do a 1 by 1. And it might let me scooch it over, but there really is a total underneath here, but I didn't want to put it out all by itself over there. But you can manipulate it by taking it all the way over and pushing it over there. But it's going to be more of a hassle than what it's worth. So I'm really not going to bother with that one by doing it that way. So I'm going to leave that part out for the grand total. You can just put it in the space underneath here. And I'll actually back up here and type in grand total. And then that way I can just type it in under there. You don't have to put that one in a separate box. All right. You can, but you don't have to. Okay. So what you do now is go onto the internet and say I was looking for welding supplies. I would type in welding supplies and say I was using Baker's gas for a place to get things here. And this was the place that I was getting everything. Boom, boom, boom. This is where my web address is up here at the top. I would click on that, see how it's all highlighted. Then I would right click and copy. I would come back to my purchase order and right here where the website box is, do not just paste this in, okay? Because that's the mess you get. That's not what I want to see. So I'm going to click on this back arrow. What I'm going to do is go to Insert, and there's this thing that says Link. And right here where it says Paste or Type a link, click there, and then paste it there. And the whole thing will fit. You'll see it all there. And under the text, I'm going to put Baker's gas. And I'm going to say insert. And that's how those links get in there that look so well. And you can see when I hover over it, exactly what is there. Okay, now I can go back up there and I can delete or close that page. And when I click on this down here, it will highlight it and I can click on it and it'll take me right to it. So that's how I can test to make sure that that's working. And that's how you put those nice links into your document. All right. So that's how you make a clean document. Then you can continue to put in your item numbers, descriptions, part numbers, how many you're buying of it, what that price is. Now for the total, just manually calculate it here. You can do formulas in Word, but we're going to work with the formulas in Excel. I don't want you to worry about formulas here. Okay? Is everybody everybody good so far on creating the actual document? Any questions about that? All right, we're good here. Okay, so now that you've got it created, we need to save it so that we can put it on our actual assignment. And it's a little bit strange to do it in Canvas. So we're going to do File, Create a Copy, and then we're going to do Download a Copy, and then Download a Copy again. Okay. Now I actually have a place on my desktop that I call Demo. Remember where you save it, and it's called Purchase Order TOCX. I prefer you save it as a Word document over a PDF. Now that you have it saved, we're going to go back to our project, and let me view it as a student again. Click Start Assignment. Go down to the little rocket ship here, click on that. It'll ask you where you have it saved, and I'm going to say it on my document, or I'm sorry, my desktop. And we are under demo, and I am going to open that, view it as a list. There it is. Open it, and you will see it listed there. And then I say submit the assignment, and you'll get confetti. Okay? And that's how you submit your assignment. So start to end, it's not very long to do. What's going to take the longest is actually finding your items on the web page, finding which particular items you want to pull, getting the dollar amounts, the item numbers, etc. All right. Any questions about the project? Anything this week? Anything from last week? Anything regarding the course so far? What you need to do, etc. David's good. Melissa said she was good earlier. Gunner's pretty good. He wants to go play games, I can tell. All right, that is it. And so this is week 2, and week 2 is also midterm. Can you believe that? Midterm is week 2. And you don't want me to leave without telling you about the midterm exam, right? I know you want that midterm exam, right? So let me tell you about that. So midterm exam in this class is one that I think you're going to like because I do not do a midterm exam. That's right. I do not do a midterm exam. And there's a reason for it. I do not believe in giving a test just for the sake of giving a test. Okay. You came into the class, you did a week 1, you did a quiz. You're doing week 2, I give you a quiz on this. I'm not going to give you a midterm exam with a bunch of questions for the sake of giving you an exam. You will have midterm grades, all right? Your midterm grades are going to be week 1 and week 2 combined, okay? So that means you need to do week 1 if you didn't finish it, and you will need to complete week 2 because Monday, next week, those combined grades are going to go to your campus. And if you're not at a certain level, they're going to contact you. Okay? Because next week on Friday, the final week assignments open. That's how fast the class moves. 4 weeks goes by really, really quick. All right. So let's do this. Let's get the stuff done. Get her done. And everything will be all right. All right. And that's it for this week. I will see you online Monday. Watch for the emails, read the texts. All right. They have important information. And I will see you live Monday, 7 o'clock. You got it. Have a good one, y'all.